Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 3. So I hope you're still enjoying the challenge and you're already starting to see some really interesting habits that you have, whether they're good or whether they're bad. And just by looking at them already, you're kind of thinking, why do I do that? What is the trigger that sets off that habit? So we're going to work a bit more on that, but we're going to talk a lot more about habits today. So you're probably thinking, Chris, where's the diet plan, or why haven't you not told me to go and run 10 miles? Would you do that, especially today because it's -1? You ain't going to do that. So building on those habits is really, really important, and you'll be amazed with how you can change your habits and why we've not looked after our health necessarily before. So we're going to talk a bit more about habits today. So habit is basically like the brain trying to make things more efficient, so we don't even have to think about it. Now, you probably sometimes drive somewhere and think, wow, I don't even remember what the traffic light was, whether it was red or green when I went through it, because it's kind of a habit when you're driving, isn't it? And you don't remember changing the gear or putting your indicator on all the time, but obviously you do it. And with healthy habits, it's kind of like building these healthy habits so the brain can automatically do those, like driving, without even thinking about it. Now, wouldn't it be so amazing if every time you walk past the fridge, you don't necessarily go in there to find something bad or unhealthy to eat, and instead you get some nice cold water, or some blueberries or something healthy. So we're going to work on those. So obviously we're trying to make it more efficient, but in a good way, because if you make things too difficult, the brain won't like it, and if there's no reward at the end of it, it certainly won't work, because a habit is basically a habit, and then a trigger if it leads to a reward. So, for example, a bad habit is if, say, for example, you smoke, then something triggers that off. Then you do the habit, which is the smoking, and the reward is, I've never smoked, so I don't know, but the reward is, I'm guessing, it gives you a high, or it makes you feel better about yourself for a bit. I don't know, but that's what I'm guessing is for that particular one. So, but would you get a reward from drinking a cold glass of water instead of your coffee? You'd probably think no at the moment, but eventually you might do. So it's kind of like giving the brain a reward. So what we're going to try and do is create those healthy goals. Okay, so we're going to talk a bit about this today. So it's quite a long one today, but trust me, it's worth it. And I'll give you the script for this as well, as part of the guidebook. So what makes a healthy habit? So a healthy habit has generally got 3 characteristics. So number 1 is it contributes to long-term well-being. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily immediately feel rewarding, but over time it helps your physical, your mental and emotional health. How amazing would that be? So, for instance, if you chose water over a sugary drink, might not give you immediate satisfaction that Coke or whatever might do, but it supports your body's functions and long-term health. Number 2 is sustainable. So a healthy habit should be something you can maintain over time without causing harm or burnout. Extreme behaviors, even if they seem healthy at first, often aren't sustainable and therefore don't qualify as truly healthy habits. So, for example, if you commit to walk 10 minutes per day, is a lot more sustainable than running a marathon every month, especially if you've never run before. And the next one, number 3, is it creates positive ripple effects. So once you're building up these healthy habits, it supports other positive behaviors. So it could be better sleep, better food choices, and when you stay hydrated, you might have more energy for exercise, and these create a foundation for overall well-being. And a classic one is if you've got one of these watches like mine's a Polar, it monitors your sleep. And sometimes you have a good night's sleep, or it could be bad, or it could be very poor, or it could be amazing. And when you look at that, you think, well, actually, what did I do last night to make that sleep that quality? And it is so clever because it tells you everything, like your heart rate and all the different types of sleep you get, and you can actually like work it out backwards. Oh yeah, it's because I did that yesterday, or it's because I didn't do that yesterday. So as you can see, it's making those healthy habits. Okay, are you excited so far? So habit formation there's a process, and there's 3 key elements. So as we've mentioned before, there's the trigger, so the signal that initiates the behavior. So the trigger could be so many things. It could be just walking past Greg's or McDonald's, or you had a bad day, or somebody cut you up on the motorway and it really annoyed you, or it took you an extra hour to get home, or you go and see a relative who's got loads of cakes for you. So all these triggers then sort of create this like routine of the behavior of, oh, okay, that happened, so this means I've got to have a drink, or I've got to have a cake, or I've got to do this and this. Whereas if you change it to like the routine is a good thing, then that creates a good reward. So the reward is the benefit that makes the behavior worth remembering. And once the brain sees this happening quite a lot, it creates the habit. Whereas if you just do it once, you probably forget about it the next day. Okay, hope that's making sense so far. And then that reward then leads to the next trigger. So it's kind of like a circle. Okay, so as we know, research says that it takes between 21 to 99 days for a habit. I've also seen 18 to 254 days, but the average is allegedly 66 days. So we're doing this in a month, which I think will create really good healthy habits, because we're strong. We can do this, can't we, team? Yes. Okay, so coming back onto the text, which you'll obviously get. So if you ever notice how you automatically take your usual route home, even when you meant to run an errand. So it could be that it's the brain's efficient autopilot is at work, or while this automation usually helps us, it can make changing habits feel challenging. Another good one is sometimes people will walk to work past McDonald's or Greggs every day, and just by doing that, they automatically smell the food and go in there and have all these unhealthy things. Whereas if you just walked a slightly different way to get to work, then you'll probably find that actually, I didn't smell all that, and I didn't need to have all those bad things. So hopefully you did your homework yesterday and you started to see patterns of where bad habits come from and what triggers them off. And everyone does it, and I do it sometimes as well, and think, why did that happen? Was it because of this, and this? And it's so clever when you can actually look at the cause of it. You can fix it quite easily just by removing that trigger. Okay, so what we're going to do now is going to create a new healthy habit. So it can be done. So the first thing you're going to do is design your environment for success. So the environment could be your lounge, it could be your office, it could be your kitchen, it could be your car, all these different things. Or could even be the environment outside. But it's all these kind of things that can create bad triggers, but also give good triggers. So if you design your environment around you to make healthy habits easy and unhealthy ones harder, it's so much easier. So cues like visible fruit available to you in your eye line is so much better than if you have crisps or snacks or cakes in view, because what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to go for the bad one, aren't you? But even if it's like nice fruit with a nice colour, or a nice shiny apple or blueberries, things like that, is really, really good, because it's like, oh, that looks really nice. Whereas sometimes a packet of crisps is just doesn't look good, but in your brain you're like, I've got to have that salt or that fat. And again, it could be a cue like if you're going to start going running, the worst thing you want to do is when you get up is you can't find your trainers, you can't find your t-shirt, you can't find your headphones. So in this situation, by having them at the bottom of the stairs ready for you the night before, everything's ready, it's so much easier to do it. And again, things like the fridge and cupboards, if you've got a naughty cupboard like a lot of people have, then what's going to happen? You're always going to go into that cupboard to get something nice out of there. Whereas if you had your nice fruit in there instead, you'd be like, oh, actually, I'll have some fruit. I'll have a banana rather than a packet of crisps. So that's a really key one to do. And trust me, it works with everybody. Okay, so that's number one. So tomorrow we're going to look at another 3 ones, because I don't want to give you too much to do. But just have a think about all these things, what I've said today, and we can really get things going. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Any questions, please put it in the group.